Hello everybody, and thank you for watching my Metallic Penguin channel. This is Metallic Penguin. Today I thought I would play some Stellaris. The purpose of this video mainly is to shout out two different mods. Chris's Covert Operations and Kex Origins. Kex Origins has a very cool mod. Has a very cool origin, I should say, in his mod, or their mod. I don't know their gender, or even if they're more than one person. But it's called the Naval Supremacist Origin. It starts you off with a cruiser and a destroyer, as well as the technology to build that, and that's very important in the early game. The idea behind this mod, I would suppose, is that you can jump in feet first into basically how I like to play Stellaris, which is very warfare oriented. I should say Stellaris is a space opera game. It's been around for about 9 years. It has a very devoted fan base. There's regularly about 16,000 people, concurrent players on Steam. I'm often one of those players. I love this game so much. Anyway, there's an origin that I put in here to the Apex Star Confederation. You want to take out the slow breeders. I know it's only -2 with the traits, but it's really terrible. It should be worse than that. You want to make them very strong and charismatic. Charismatic tends to help assimilate the empires you conquer into the planets you conquer, I should say, into your empire. The nascent stage origin, I'm going to spit that out correctly eventually, is very odd because it creates part of your population that is essentially not sentient, and they need to develop for several years before they can become members of your society. It has very strange impacts on your planetary empires, and I basically recommend not picking the nascent stage trait for that very reason. Okay, here you see I've done a little bit of exploring, and I'm going to go down to the galactic lower left. One of the things that I do, that I love to do, and I'm not saying to do this, in fact, don't do this in Stellaris. This is a very bad habit, where I'll see a planet, I'll take my science vessel and see a planet, and I'll think, oh, let me go explore that planet. In this playthrough, as we'll see, that got me into some problems. Now, I should say, the way I prefer to play Stellaris, and there's loads of ways to play this, and I'm not even saying this is the correct way to play it, it's just the way I play it. You know how they have what they call in-game text boxes that pop up, and you, basically there's science situations or explorer situations. I have a very bad habit of ignoring those until I go through my first conflict. And that's a very bad habit, and don't do that. Like, don't do that. I'm gonna have a video after this that breaks down how exactly to play Stellaris. I just mainly wanted to use this video here to shout out Kex Origin mod, and also Chris's Covert Operations. And also, always, the Start with a Dreadnought mod. I love that. To me, it's like putting on pants when you're playing Stellaris. You want to try and start with a Dreadnought. It's great. And here I am setting up an archaeology, science. I love the archaeology stuff because sometimes archaeology can give you more resources and more, science can give you a head start with science. I love that. Big fan, big fan. But the purpose, to me, the purpose of Kex, starting with a cruiser and a destroyer, is you jump feet first into whatever warfare with the pure civilization that you would like. And you got to bear with me, folks, here. Okay, you got to bear with me, folks, here. I'll get into more, soup and nuts how to play in the next video. But here we are. Basically, I'm just essentially biding my time, waiting to hit a pure civilization. I don't know if you can see it up there, but in the very upper center of the screen, there's that first pure civilization that I found. And I'm more or less just sort of biding my time. By the way, the reason you want to go to war in Stellaris is because it's a quick way to get resources. So the way I play Stellaris, and this is how I should explain this, the way I play Stellaris is you wage wars, and then there's the fallout from said war. So you wage wars to collect resources so you can grow your empire, so you can wage wars. And I don't know if you can see it, but the yellow sort of empire kind of in the middle of where I ended up, I guess that's a fallen empire or a collection of fallen empires. I haven't really I haven't been that close to fallen empires before where I've stuck around in the playthrough, because most of the times the fallen empires that I find are very militaristic, and I kind of nope out. And here we are, we're building militaries really quick because I'm going to go to war. And though you would think I would go to war with the empire to my galactic left or west, I'm going to end up going to war with an empire to my galactic right or east and basically south. And then I'm going to, in the next video, I'm going to do a lot more detail of how to actually play or set up a game of Stellaris. Because, and this is just a weird quirk of mine, I don't think Stellaris is, I think the most fun you can have in Stellaris is after you've won your first conquest, is how I'll say that. And okay, I'm moving my military into position. And I think here is where I take stock of everything and realize I can't really go to war with the Empire in red. I can't really go to war with them yet, because you don't want to fight. Now, this is important. When you're fighting a war in Stellaris, especially your first war, you don't want to fight a war on multiple fronts. You want to try and do a war on one front at a time. And that's what I am. I'm a one front at a time kind of guy. Now, right around in here is where I start going to war with the Empire to my south and east. Now, just really quickly, I'm not one of these people that will even tell you you can fight an entire, empire without, in one go. So you have to do it in chunks. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, you have a naval cap, and two, you have finite resources in Stellaris. So, especially in the early game. Now, right here is where I start to take stock of everything and realize I have to go to the east and south. So, there was also a pirate event earlier, and I had save scummed this. That's another thing. You're going to be doing a lot of save scumming in Stellaris. Anyway, so I had save scummed this, and I knew there was a pirate event. And I knew I needed to take care of that before I go to war. And I made a decision to go to war to the east and south because I knew I could win that. Even with Keck's mod, you have to have, you have a naval cap to worry about. And resources to worry about. So you can have your cruisers and your destroyers, but you still have to have the resources, and you still have to do the naval cap. One thing I will say is this mod basically adds a dimension of forced expansion with your space stations. I'll get into all this later, but I just wanted to shout out Keck's mod and also Chris's covert operations. I really appreciate the modding community in Stellaris. I think it's really cool, and one of the things I want to do with my channel is shout it out whenever I can. Alright, I'll see you guys on the flip side. And there we are with the expanded borders, and what you want to do is you want to come into the species tab and you want to set your species rights to whatever you want. I want these people, or I guess beings, to be citizens and productive and happy because they're here to produce for my empire. Okay, this has been Metallic Penguin, and I'll catch you on the flip side. By the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Also, thanks for Keck's Origin and Chris's Covert Operations for existing.